Welcome to the podcast, Sydney.
Yeah, we have a special guest.
It does feel really good to have somebody else on here. It's been a minute, actually.
For real, I was getting tired of the other two. So I'm gonna break it up.
Oh, y'all, I kind of got a question because for Thanksgiving, you know how like for Christmas there's like albums you can play and movies you can watch and like Halloween and stuff like that. The spooky music you listen to. There's not really that kind of music for Thanksgiving. What do you guys listen to for Thanksgiving? We were struggling over here.
I'm kind of upset that viral song that I got green beans, that didn't go as hard this year. And I was really upset about that. That's kind of been a tradition for me the last 3 years, and just for it to fall off.
I feel you. Yeah, man. I don't know. There's not really like a go-to album you listen to on Thanksgiving or music you listen to.
Kind of dive into Christmas music. That's what I do.
That's okay. Yeah, that's what we did today. Like we started listening to Christmas music. It's like, oh.
Well, Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" is already back in the top 10 of like, I think iTunes. So that reoccurring bag for her is just gaining steam.
I watched This Christmas last night with Chris Brown, and Idris Elba, and yeah. So that Chris Brown song don't hit the same now because obvious reasons. But
didn't Tyler Perry do a Christmas movie that was called like This Christmas or like Last Christmas? Something.
He probably did Last Christmas, but This Christmas is the one with like all the black characters, bro. In 2007, it had like all the B-list black actors in it. Seriously, like, think about it. It was in there. Mekhi Phifer, Regina King, everybody.
Have y'all seen the Third Friday movie?
B-list.
Ooh, the Third Friday movie.
That's a Christmas movie to me.
Oh, that's a Christmas. You're right. That's a Christmas movie. That's easily a Christmas movie.
I saw a tweet that said anytime Christmas is featured prominently in a movie.
Wait, Nnamdi, did you hear Avery said there's a third Friday?
You mean the third one?
Avery, can we talk to you outside for a second?
Okay. I had no clue they made a third one.
Wait, you seriously never? It's not called Third Friday.
I know they made. No, I know they made a second one. I didn't know there was a third movie though.
Are you serious?
Friday After Next.
Friday After Next. That's the second best one. That's the second best one.
Yeah,
that's the second best one.
Well, the second one was bad. Okay. I didn't know
it was cool, but like the third one's actually funny. You should watch it.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, take your time out to watch that.
No pressure. And stay tuned for the 97 Demo Movie Podcast, which is coming, with all our movie takes.
That will actually come like a couple years from now. Like
that's what we're trying to get to.
I'm not joking, but okay. Yeah.
But y'all, honestly, this week in music has been crazy enough between the Grammys and Megan's album. We're going to be touching on both. Very excited. Y'all know I'm passionate about the Grammys, so expect like at least a 35-minute rant there alone.
Let's get right into it, though.
I know, but cool. Welcome to the 97 Demo, where we give you the latest in music news, and a whole bunch along the way. I'm 1/3 of your host, Nnamdi Ekwanwu, at Nnamagwan on Twitter.
Yeah.
Joined by
Noah McGee. What's up, guys?
And Avery, and we have our illustrious guest here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello. Hello, my name is Sydney Walton, Sid Walton. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Noel Walton. Yes.
Is it the same across all, like Instagram, Twitter? It's the exact same?
Yeah, at Noel Walton _. Yeah.
That's so smart.
And I feel like as we're entering you, we should talk about the music stuff you do, because you do a lot. I believe former radio show host, part-time DJ. Like, I mean, there's just
talk about what
you
do.
To do there.
Let's see. I hosted a radio show on KCOU 88.1 FM. Shout out to them. Hosted that for 2 years. And then kind of got into recording the show, kind of like the Breakfast Club style. Then COVID cut that short, and we're kind of in a podcast style with it now. So, yes, sir.
We just want to let the people. We just want to let the people know that we bringing people on that do this. They do this. They do this. They're not like this here.
My last question for you: your favorite genre of music?
Favorite genre? Oh, definitely hip hop, R&B, one of those two. Yeah.
Favorite, most recent album to come from that genre?
Oh my gosh! I want to say Meg Thee Stallion's album. Let me look at my.
Okay.
Ooh, perfect. That's a perfect segue.
Go with it.
Or the Kid.
Follow your heart. Okay.
I didn't know who he was before, but I think G Herbo shouted him out on his Instagram page. And I was like, I gotta check this out.
When you're from Chicago, G Herbo tell you to do something. You gotta
do something. You do it easily.
That's how that goes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you
Or,
guys.
Sorry. I would say
No,
Ariana
go ahead.
album. Yes, that was a great
Ooh,
album.
see, that was a good album.
Yes.
That was a good album. Is that R&B and pop or pop though?
Oh, I think the Black community wants her to be an R&B artist really, really badly. But
Scooter Brown is saying you better stay with mainstream pop and chill with all that.
Chill out.
You gonna pull a Justin Bieber?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait till we get to the Grammy nominations. So much. Speaking of which, because that's what we're starting today, the Grammys on their own were so much news that there was just no need for any other headlines because you guys, I'm mad.
Yeah,
and I really let my emotions show through, but y'all know I'm mad.
Yeah, I just want to say on our last episode, we discussed, should we care about the Grammys? Like literally the question was, should we care about the Grammys, discussing it because we knew the nominations are going to drop. And basically came to the conclusion that we shouldn't. We shouldn't, but people are going to care because it's the artist. You know, it's kind of used as like a one-up against people's artists and whatnot. And we said that, and then on Tuesday, the nominations dropped, and everybody went into frenzy and cared about the nominations.
Nnamdi got so mad, he sent us a 2-minute voice memo of him yelling. That ended
I was
with
like, I can't curse on the pod, so here's what y'all get.
It ended with Nam out. That's how mad he was.
I'm gonna start ending everything I do with Nam out. So just now.
Nam out. Yeah, exactly.
Well, so I guess to lay this one out, right, for the audio listeners, the Grammys put out their nominations last Tuesday. We, like Noah said, we had a whole episode about if they're still relevant. I don't think they are after this week because there were some huge omissions and huge snubs. I think the most prominent being The Weekend After Hours, which not only was not nominated for Album of the Year, which many consider to be a lock, but didn't get any nominations, which at that point it kind of feels like a targeted attack because you can't tell me the artist who released an album that was that commercially and critically acclaimed can just be completely shunned out, especially once you find out that he was working collaboratively to do a performance, which they wouldn't invite you to perform if you weren't nominated. So it just feels very, very, very
fishy.
And it's the first time where I've been upset at the Grammys before. We've talked about that, but it's the first time I have had to look at the Grammys differently and kind of say, I don't know if I trust this institution. I never trusted them before, but I don't trust this institution as a whole at all because of this huge glaring omission. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's not a single metric in which The Weeknd not being nominated for anything makes sense. And that's me detaching myself from being a Weeknd fan. It's just by the book numbers. Like, it doesn't make sense that The Weeknd wouldn't at least be nominated for pop vocal or R&B, but Justin Bieber's Changes is. It doesn't make sense that Blinding Lights, which is the highest charted song this year, gets 0 nominations, but Yummy gets one. Yummy gets a Grammy nomination. All right, that's what we're doing. Look, I'm sorry. We don't talk bad on this pod anymore. We don't talk bad on this pod. I learned my lesson. I'm just saying. Things ain't making sense.
Sydney, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
So to be honest, I did see The Weeknd kind of speak out about this. And personally, I have not been a huge Weeknd fan since I think Kissland and Trilogy because I feel like he just changed up so much. And honestly, it worked out for him. He should be as big as Justin Bieber. Like, I don't think he is. I think he definitely should be. But that could also, be his personality, kind of be a laid back, chill kind of guy. But I do agree. Like, I feel like there are certain songs you don't have to download to hear all the time or know the lyrics to. And I feel like he definitely has a lot of songs like that now. So
yeah,
he definitely did some sort of recognition from the Grammys.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are kind of like you in the fact that we're not Weeknd stans, oh my gosh, every Weeknd album is incredible. And this album wasn't even in my personal top 10, Avery and Nnamdi, this isn't your top 10 for your albums of the year, but I could still look at it as a piece of work and see it as one of the most acclaimed piece of works that's come out this year. And of course, every year everybody's gonna have their favorite artists that you're gonna this is kind of off topic, but the rap, the rap side, people are like, oh my gosh, Lil Baby, I can't believe you didn't get nominated, And everybody's gonna have the artist that they love, but looking at this, that's not one of my favorite artists, without any bias. I'm truly shocked that Weeknd didn't get nominated. And I literally texted, I was like, guys, he had to get any nominations. At first I was like, guys, he had to not submit his album. That just had, that's the only explanation. And then 5 minutes later, he was like, he tweeted this, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a problem. So more than anything, it just shows, and there's other things too, but this just shows. It's so funny that we had that conversation because it feels like they almost tried outside of the weekend. It almost sounds like they tried too hard to like listen to the music, and then they sounded out of touch. So, what about you, Avery?
Yeah, no, I think Sydney brought up a really good point where it's like you don't even need to like intentionally go out of your way to try and listen to some people. And usually the Grammys do a pretty decent job of like rewarding the radio hits or like rewarding like what's generally like really popular. Like The Weeknd was so popular this year that he is like headlining the Super Bowl. Like that's
Super Bowl.
Like that's not an honor to be taken lightly, and that's not an honor they just like hand out to people because like, you know, they need it. So I was, when you guys said that he wasn't nominated, I was like, there's no way. Like someone skipped over something, someone glazed over it. Like it made no sense to me.
And you know, I think, and I'm not gonna sit on The Weeknd because I know I could, but I'm not gonna sit on The Weeknd.
There's other things that happened too that were questionable, but
exactly. But I feel like the things that you have to consider, Lil Baby and The Weeknd are the two artists that had the best-selling albums this year. But you know, not let me say Black, because Taylor Swift had to come in with Folklore and kind of just kill that stat for
everything.
But and Avery, we're gonna get into this because there was fantastic points here that I definitely want to highlight. It's shocking to me that there can be such a glaring omission that we live in a world where last year, deservingly, Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, which was everywhere, got all those Grammy nominations, which made sense. It dominated the song. If there was any song this year that I would say is close enough of equivalent, it'd either be Blinding Lights or WAP. And I'd say Blinding Lights more than WAP. And for that to just get no attention, again, it feels very targeted and pointed, and it's hard to trust the institution and therefore trust any of the awards that come with it. Avery, I thought this New York Times piece you brought in was perfect at explaining some of the difficulties with trusting an institution. Ben Cesario, who is, I believe, a New York Times music critic, he kind of wrote, he was like, the choices always draw eye rolls among journalists who want the Grammys to reflect the pulse of contemporary music, which they don't. Blatantly, the Grammys are one of the few award shows that aren't trying to say, these are the artists that did the best in meeting today's music standards. It's who did the best meeting our traditional values as the Grammys. Like, as he says, what they really are is an assertion of values by the Grammy deep state, communicating to the rest of the industry that whatever wacky trends may come along, an unchanging bedrock of classic songwriting rooted in the rock, soul, and folk of the 1960s and 70s will always be treasured and rewarded. That's so frustrating to think about. And then they also pointed out there wasn't any hip hop producers in the Producer of the Year category. And it's crazy to consider the fact that hip hop is such a dominant force in music right now, and it can still be ignored like that by an institution like the Grammys.
That point is also shocking because I feel like producers in hip hop are the ones that are the most prevalent and the most visible. Like you see them because they're like out here like rappers. Like, I mean, of course, producers in all genres, but I feel like in hip hop they're more of a character now because like obviously Metro Boomin, he's gonna release it. He releases albums. Like hip hop, like producers in rap release albums. I just talked about how that Knowledge album is one of my favorite albums this year. That's his album. So so yeah. So also since we can talk about Avery, if you can find the rap album of the year category also. That also draw. Oh, see, I already got. See, this is one.
This is where I got mad right here.
See, this is my thing. This is my thing. This is where I feel like they tried to do something, and I respect them for that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they did a bad job of it, cause like.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, go ahead, Sydney. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I didn't even know how these people dropped albums this year. Like, no offense, but I was like, okay, D Smoke. I was surprised about that because
I was surprised too.
He just won Rhythm and Flow, which I was also kind of turning my head at because I didn't know he was Sir's brother, and I feel like I don't know what that like.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
And people say he sounds like, and they say he sounds like Kendrick and all that stuff.
Kendrick. And I was like, ooh, Freddie Gibbs. I feel like I've heard a lot. Heard people talk about Freddie Gibbs a lot more.
Okay, so I wasn't mad about that one.
That was incredible.
Okay. That kind of has to win, I feel like.
Yeah, I was surprised about Nas though, because his album was okay. Like it.
I'm with you, Cindy. It was cool.
It was cool, yeah.
It was cool.
And then Royce the 5'9" have not heard the name since I think he was on Rhythm and Flow for like one of the episodes.
Yeah, he probably was.
Can we talk about this Jay-Z album getting nominated here under A different name? The J Electronica. Sorry, the J Electronica.
Okay, don't do that. That was a good album. No, but here, yo, let me tell you this, and I want to emphasize that J Electronica is the only one getting that win if that album wins, not Jay-Z. So put some respect on my man's name.
I do. Okay,
Yeah,
I do want
right.
to say this about the rap album category though. I feel like they tried to. I feel like the Grammys overthought it, so I'm not too mad about it. I thought they were like, okay, guys, with this rap album thing, we always mess it up. Let's really, really focus on. Hold on. That's really, they're out of touch, but I respect it for trying on this one because they're like, guys, let's really focus on the artistry, the rapping, and let's make sure all the categories are really lyrical. I feel like they could have done that, and they could have put like a good half of like these, like they could have taken 2 or 3 of these albums out and put in like a Lil Baby or something like that, or not for me personally, or like a Lil Uzi because people love that album too. For me, I know not for that's not for.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying from no, I know, Nnamdi.
I know.
Lil Baby and Lil Uzi, it's not for me. Like for personally me, I have no problems with this because I feel like they could have found a good balance. Because me personally, I think Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist, they did make one of the best albums this year. I think Royce the 5'9", if he was a Kendrick or something, that would be one of the best albums this year. It would get that much acclaim. So I'm not mad about this, but I think this album is I'm less controversial about it because to me, it's just fanboys. Like, oh my gosh, Lil Baby, who are these artists? Who's Freddie Gibbs? Like, people don't know who that is. Who's Royce the 5'9"? Who's not that old head? You know, that's more of what I feel
wish like Run the Jewels got nominated.
I agree too.
I do too, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't. I thought they were going to be a lock this year.
Yeah, so.
I feel like Big Sean could have been in there too.
He could have been in there.
Oh, that's true too.
Exactly. If there was a commercial album in there that was like commercial, he should have been there.
Yeah.
I think he should have been there. Oh,
But
yes.
I think like what my response to what you said, Noah, is, and again, this New York Times article touched on this too. The whole Grammy values thing goes beyond pop, even to hip hop. Mm-hmm. There is a specific sector of hip hop that they completely ignore every year, right? Yeah. Trap, anything that's kind of like interesting or anything that blurs the lines between different genres, in favor for what the Grammy voters have decided is the Grammy-worthy rap.
True,
which is,
but that's
as this says, earnest, technique-driven, either shop-worn or fine-tuned, depending on your lens. That's how you get, you know, your Freddie Gibbs, your J Electronica, your Royce the 5'9", all of which are more so, you know, they're bar for bar lyricist.
Yeah. But this is the first time they've done something like that before, though. That's the first time they've done something. In terms of I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying in terms of the lyricism. That's what I'm saying. I honestly don't even feel like that's the case, because I think every single year, typically the nominees for rap album, that's how you have a situation where Jay-Z has a whole bunch of wins and Eminem has a whole bunch of wins, and your people who are nominated are typically like your Commons or your Rhapsody. But 21 Savage was nominated a couple years ago. Remember that 21 Savage album got nominated?
And Cardi B won it one year. So I think they always will just throw in someone to sort of just if they're getting the criticism too much. But I think overwhelmingly when you look at your nominated albums, there is kind of a look they have. And I think that's my overall issues with the Grammys. And then you start doing a little bit more reading into it. And, you know, we talked all about how the Recording Academy was bringing in 2,000 new voters and things are supposed to be way more diverse. you do some reading and you find out that all those people, they just vote for the top 20. And then a group of 20 people sit down in a room and decide who gets these top 4 categories. That's insane to me. And then you're wondering why an album like After Hours doesn't make the cut. Well, if you only have 20 old people, renowned music critics deciding who wins this, they're not going to be in touch with the contemporary pulse of music.
This feels like that.
Frustrating.
This feels like that food critic from Ratatouille. Y'all seen that movie?
Yeah.
That was hating on everything. That's what it feels like. I just gotta say, I'm not sleeping. I'm not losing sleep on Lil Baby not getting nominated. That's just me.
Yeah, like no, like
I'm not losing sleep. But
I don't think any of us are losing sleep. I think it's more so the fact that, and this is what I've always said. I can't think of a white artist that could achieve what either Lil Baby or The Weeknd achieved this year, both commercially and critically within their own genres.
Yeah, I feel you.
That has gotten no love.
Yeah, that's true.
I would be hard pressed to find, in The Weeknd's case, an album just as big on either commercial or critical that's been completely ignored. I emphasize that this isn't us just saying, oh, there was an album of the year nomination. It's completely shunned out. And honestly, as a black man, it's kind of hard to watch and see. I'm not gonna lie. I hate it when I see someone who's put in the work just completely get ignored like this. And another point of the Grammys that they do is they'll pick artists when they're young. and I didn't notice this until Her's what opened my eyes to this. And it's not wrong, because Her, I think, makes great music. But the Grammys will pick artists when they're young and say, you're going to be a Grammy winner for life.
Yeah.
It's the reason Beyonce has 79 nominations in addition to her making quality music. It's the addition to y'all see how I have to save myself. It's the reason her continues to get up. It's the reason that her within the last 2 years alone has gotten 10 nominations for Grammys. It's the reason why Lady Gaga gets nominated every year. It's the reason why Dua Lipa gets nominated every year. It's the reason why Billie Eilish can release one record. The fact that Billie Eilish and Beyonce released just off singles during their off season, just one standalone singles, and they got this much attention from the Grammys.
Yeah.
Black Parade, which
it's
came
a good
out.
song,
We
but
love
it's not
Beyonce,
like, but it's not like
we love
that.
Beyonce. It was deep, but no one added it to their libraries. We were like, okay, cool, thanks, D.
I feel you.
And the fact that got a record and song of the year nomination, it's I think it's reflective
weird.
of an institution that will say, okay, well, these are the hip hop guys, just nominate them, and then let's not actually try.
Yeah.
And that's what's difficult to listen to.
I agree with that, Nnamdi. I'm with you, bud.
Yeah, I want to get to some of what people have to say about this. Avery has, what the Grammy chief Avery Mason Jr. had to say, which honestly was a whole bunch of malarkey.
He's a clown,
It
bro.
really was. We can summarize it. He basically defended the fact that The Weeknd didn't get nominated by saying like, oh, it's just part of our process, and he just happened to like not show up. The interviewer, I don't know who it was, but the interviewer
He pressed him.
was like, okay, I can understand if the pop people are like, okay, it's an R&B album. If the R&B people are like, okay, it's a pop album. But what about record of the year? What about song of the year? Things like that. Like that, those are pretty inexcusable.
Album of the year.
And the Grammy chief, without giving him too much attention because he doesn't really deserve it, was like, basically like, yeah, it just didn't it just didn't happen.
Yeah,
It was constant deflection.
He sounded like a politician. I mean, it's political. It is political, but what's the difference between song of the year and record of the year, guys? I don't know.
Song is songwriting.
You said what?
Song is songwriting, and then a record of the year is the actual like song. Like just like Blinding Lights would probably be nominated for record of the year because it was huge, but not song of the year because the actual songwriting probably isn't insanely good.
Okay.
So that's the two differences there. But a couple of things. This is where I found out that the actual voting committee is 20 people because that wonderful person who was talking to the Grammy chief asked him and said like, how many people are in that room that makes the final decisions? And he was like 20. Which is insane. And again, with the Weeknd thing, there's no way you're going to tell me that a mission can happen. He asked him, have you ever seen a room or been in a situation where an album like this has been ignored? And he was like, well, I can't remember a time you've gotten so many submissions. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the most submissions we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know. The Grammys are always going to get it wrong for the rest of like eternity, honestly. Like, we're going to have problems every like this is why we ask, like, why should we care? Like, there's so much music released.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good segue into what Drake said.
Mm-hmm. And we brought up what he said last week at the Grammys a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Where he was basically saying you're successful if people are listening to your music and come to your concerts. And he kind of elaborated on that, I guess, with this Weeknd thing. I think we should stop allowing ourselves to be shocked every year by the disconnect between impactful music and these awards, and just accept that what once was the highest form of recognition may no longer matter to the artists that exist now and the ones who come after.
Didn't we just say this? I thought we said this.
And I'm not going to say we said it then Drake listened to the pod, but I mean, clearly there's a correlation here.
Clearly there's a correlation. So yeah.
What's up, Drake?
So Drake, come on for an interview.
I mean, wait, but let me ask Sydney, just to get your take on that. What do you think regarding the relevance of the Grammys? Do you think we should still care? Do you think people are gonna still care? Like, what's your take here?
I feel like people have been saying for years, like, I think especially since, infamous 2013, Macklemore won over Kendrick. I feel like that was definitely the most eye-opening situation for people. And then I think every year, like, we have hope that, they're gonna do the right thing, because there have been like certain years where they've thrown in artists that you never thought would get nominated. Like, I think they had Cordae nominated last year.
Yeah, they did.
They had Tyler nominated last year, and Jay-Z, and it's in the same category. And it was like, wow, this is diversity as far as like who's been in the game longer, that type of thing. As far as like, because I think there's diversity within the genre of hip hop. So I feel like in the past, they've tried to do a good job of, mixing it up as far as that. But I feel like this year, as far as the hip hop category, it was all kind of the same, like kind of not something you like, if someone played that in the club,
Nobody. Yeah.
They were like the Oscar nominations of like rap albums.
Yeah, exactly.
They were like, I meant to check that out. Like I was gonna go see
that's
that.
the thing though. That's the thing though, and that's the thing too. I'm with you, Sydney. They typically, like, even though like there's rap albums that like omitted that I personally had in there, they typically been okay with it. Like they had Tyler, and they had Corday, and then they had like a big selling rap album. Like I remember one year they had like Rhapsody, and they had Schoolboy Q, and then they had Jay-Z, and Jay-Z and Eminem are always gonna get in it if they release. Jay-Z and Eminem, they're gonna get in it if they release the album. They're always
were
going
invested
to.
in when they were young by the Grammys.
Exactly. They're gonna get in it, whether the album's good or bad. It's gonna be in it. But sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, that's not bad, even though it wouldn't have been my person. I was like, oh, that's not terrible. You know, I'm with you, Sydney, on that. So. And
on the topic of big rap snuff, Nicki Minaj came to remind us that the Grammys didn't give her the Best New Artist award, which is true when she had came out that year and it was huge and had 7 songs charting at the same time and a bigger first week than any female rapper. And they gave it to Bon Iver.
That's been a
disabled, not to make the fans mad.
Yeah.
Is it Bon Iver, Sydney? Is it Bon Iver?
I think it's Bon Iver. I'm not even gonna try. I don't want to offend anybody.
Bon Iver.
Is that like, I didn't forget that either, Nikki. I didn't forget. I remembered. I remember that ceremony.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the lesson here is it just really calls into question the actual institution of the Grammys.
Yeah.
So I think
Justin Bieber's comments.
Yeah, Sydney wanted to touch on these.
Oh, go ahead.
No, we should. We definitely should.
Which I think is great. If this will load.
I didn't see this.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead, Sydney. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was, just scrolling on the timeline on Twitter, and I saw someone wrote an article about this, and so I clicked on it, and I was like, first of all, don't start out a statement saying that like I'm not ungrateful, because then you already kind of sound a little ungrateful right then and there. And just for him to say like, oh, I'm very meticulous and intentional about his music. First of all, I feel like a lot of people are, like, especially once you get to a certain level where you're getting nominated for a Grammy, once you're making money off of making music. I feel like that's of course, like, you're meticulous about your music. But like, I love Changes. It was a great album. I felt like I was like, 13 again, loving a Justin Bieber album. But I loved it as a pop album because that's what it was. And even iTunes has it listed as a pop album. And why did he fight iTunes back when it first came out?
Why he fight Apple Music?
Why did he fight Spotify? But now he wants to say, oh, it's an R&B album. I didn't know that. Nobody else knew that. If you ask,
I remember he tried. It was a soft try,
Because he didn't say this about Journals, and I feel like Journals was definitely like, he was more intentional about making that an R&B album.
I agree with you.
Based off of like, he had Robert Kelly on there. I know.
Yeah, but he's R&B, but that's R&B writer.
He made more of an effort, I feel like, to have artists on there that more
Robert Kelly
more so embodied the genre. Not saying, because he had like Kalani on here. He had other Black artists on here, but I feel like it's different. He had Lil Dicky on this album. Who put Lil Dicky on an R&B album?
Nobody.
Literally
nobody. Hey,
and honestly, you guys, to that point, and then for audio listeners, this is just Justin Bieber's Instagram post where he was upset that Changes got nominated in the pop category instead of the R&B category, despite making a pop R&B at best album.
This is my thing. First of all, it's bad timing because nobody really cares about that because you got nominated, so just be quiet. Second of all, this kind of reminds me about, remember last year, Tyler, the Creator? This is not the same. I agree with Tyler. Remember Tyler, the Creator was like,
same sentiment.
Yeah, same sentiment. He was like, I didn't make a rap album, but I'm glad I got nominated and won the award for it, but I didn't really rap on that. I'm like, it's a thing where like, I'm happy I got it, but I'm happy I got nominated and I won, but it's not really that. The thing is, I think this is okay. He has the same sentiment, but the wrong answer. The wrong answer. So I don't really feel bad for Justin Bieber, like, honestly.
And honestly, I just, again, looking at this, I just get mad that After Hours wasn't in the place of Changes because I just don't understand. I'll say that I'm gonna let it go because Sydney, I'm not gonna disrespect your guy.
And you know what's gonna happen too? The next time Weeknd drops the album, he's gonna win. That's what they did with Kendrick. Like he did.
But y'all, this feels beyond just not winning. This feels like you did something happen behind the scenes, and we were like, take him off the list. It just doesn't make sense. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, because I almost forgot, and it was just as glaring. Avery, if you go back to Grammys, and then we'll move on. Could you go to the R&B category? because this got a lot of press and a lot of people were upset about this too. Yeah, this year, we pretty much conceded was dominated by women in R&B. Between Chloe and Halle, Alicia Keys' album, Kehlani, Tiana Taylor, JoJo, we all know, I mess with. This was a female-run R&B year. And to see a best R&B album category that has not a single woman nominated just feels so like just out of touch is an understatement.
I'm gonna read
Tiana
Taylor's tweet. Brandy, her, Kehlani, Summer Walker, Victoria Monet, Janae, JoJo, Ari Lennox, SZA, Tinashe. The list goes on and on. So, yeah.
And the list really does go on. And to see not a single one nominated for best R&B album in exchange for what? Luke James' album? Did y'all listen to Luke James' album?
No.
And
I'm happy Giveon is on there because I like Giveon's album. That's good too. But that's the thing we're talking about. It feels now. You know what's so crazy? I don't want to make it. It feels less like because Nnamdi touched on this. It feels less like a race thing and less just like that they're out of touch. Like they just don't know what's going on. Like they just feel like they don't know
the people in the room anymore.
I just like they just don't know what they just don't know what's like prevalent in music.
Do any of them have a Twitter? Can you get on Twitter and just look at the timeline when these albums drop? Avery, go to album of the year just one more time for me. Let me just take it in and move on.
You know, honestly,
I wanted to ask, is there anything you guys liked out of the Grammy nominations?
I like.
Yeah, go ahead, Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney.
I was gonna say, Chilombo. I'm so glad that I got nominated. Part of me is like album of the year.
Yeah, I was like.
Don't act like you weren't a little bit kind of like, what, really?
Yeah, I was like...
It was a good album, but I was surprised. The deluxe was good, though, but I feel like she should have just released the deluxe initially.
Yeah. Chilombo didn't get nominated for Best R&B Album, but snuck into Album of the Year.
I'm confused. Yeah, it's so
If
confused.
she wins, I will be very happy because, like, she's worked hard. She deserves it. As everyone on this list has, but, like, I'm just a Jhené Aiko fan. But I also, like because I'm a fan, I can, be like... Maybe her last album, what was it? Trip. That was definitely album of the year material. I don't know about this. So.
Y'all know I'm a Coldplay fan, but
Avery,
that should not be in there. That should not be anywhere in these
I know what snub you're mad about, Avery. Charlie XCX.
Yes, she didn't get nominated for pop album.
Yo.
The best pop album of the year.
That's Avery's
favorite. Get nominated for pop.
That's Avery's favorite, y'all. That's favorite.
I was happy about all the Phoebe Bridgers.
I
was happy about
and I was gonna ask you about that. She got love this year.
Yeah,
I think she got Best Rock.
Yeah,
but
she's gonna get washed by Meg and New Artist, but I'm happy she's there.
I don't know. I would not be surprised if Phoebe wins. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Y'all, I just want to point this out. You're telling me one album from hip hop is nominated on Album of the Year. And it's Post Malone.
Oh my gosh, bro.
This is the issue.
Seriously.
Which will have come out like 2 years prior to this.
Bro, I just gotta say this. They just had one thing to do: put Run the Jewels and rap and Album of the Year, and then we would have been cool. We would have been good.
Like, okay,
we would have been good.
It's not no. Like, look, I don't. And I'm gonna.
I feel
it's not that. It goes beyond that. To like, again, I hate when people say everything comes down to race, but this to me feels like that. It is such a disconnect and just inability to recognize.
Well, it's not an absurd thing to say about the Grammys.
Well, it's not an absurd thing to say.
I know, but it's like as we talk about progress and diversity in the voting academy, there shouldn't be a situation where the best hip hop acts are all black, right? Even if you look at it by numbers this year, Lil Baby, Roddy Ricch, Weeknd, and none of them get nominated in exchange of Post Malone, who in his own right is a huge act. I'm not doubting that, but it still feels like something's missing here. Like there isn't not enough people are in the room. Because if you can't tell me any of us would have been like, hey,
that's like when a white person wins something at the BET Awards. I'm like, oh, interesting. It's off. All
right, we're gonna have to zoom through these next things. This must be our longest episode ever, but we're gonna zoom.
And look, we have a guest. This is
we have a guest though, so it's good.
The Grammys, they deserve that. But okay, getting back to music, so we can stop talking about that award show. New releases. There was a lot of not as much as last week, but a couple new albums. Plastic Heart, Miley Cyrus, No Ceilings 3, Lil Wayne, his mixtape. Which I feel like I see a No Ceilings quite often. That's kind of, again, didn't we just get a No Ceilings mixtape? I swear we just got a No Ceilings mixtape.
We probably got a Lil Wayne mixtape, but I don't think it was No Ceilings. But
and then a couple of new singles too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay. So what did you guys listen to? What did you guys like?
Sydney.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of pressure, Noah, to put on. That's not good.
I was telling Avery, I just started listening to No Ceilings 3 because I saw because DJ Khaled's so extra. He was, in the studio just really getting into the song that he did with Drake.
Oh, that sounded good.
Yeah, no, the BB King freestyle. It sounded amazing because I haven't heard Drake just get on a smooth R&B beat and just
go in.
Yeah. And so I started listening to that. Everything else I have not listened to at all. I didn't even know Miley Cyrus was still out here like that making music.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jennifer Lopez, did not know. Okay, all
She
right.
performed at the AMAs, and all I remember reading about it is that it looked like Beyonce. That was the extent of what I saw about that. Noah, what'd you listen to?
This Corday track I was really interested in because I saw it on his Instagram, and him and Naomi were doing like Beats commercials on it, and I was like, oh, he's dropping a new song, it's coming. And then I was surprised it came out. I was like, oh, that's what's up. So that song was really dope. I listened to this. I don't remember. I'm surprised you guys put this on there. I didn't think you guys were gonna find that Calais remix.
It was so good.
Well, I listened to it just because of Terrace Martin, because I love Terrace
same.
Martin and his form, and he's an incredible musician. That was really good. And yeah. Oh wait, hold up. Okay, I'll get off that. And I listened to the St. John track with Kanye West. I'm not the biggest fan of St. John.
Yeah.
But
I haven't been a big fan
I
of what
thought.
I've heard.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of what I've heard so far. But yeah.
I like St. John.
Kanye wasn't bad on the song though.
He wasn't bad.
If you
St. John
at this
St. John
point with
was more the
Kanye,
problem.
it's like, does it sound good? And if it sounds good, you just shouldn't listen to the lyrics. And it's like the same with this song.
Exactly. Now I know what Avery listens to. Now I ain't gotta ask that.
I
I know what Avery
listened to
listens
this Bad Bunny album. It was so good. This is
that's
Phoebe
what I thought he
Bridgers
was
stuff was
gonna say.
great.
Oh,
But
Phoebe.
she covered some songs. They're very sad Christmas songs. So if you're depressed this Christmas, you should reaffirm your feelings.
Yeah, no, I want to be
listening
depressed
to
this Christmas.
This Phoebe Bridgers EP. I listened to the Bad Bunny album, his third album of the year. I also I should just learn Spanish. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds great. He
I don't know what he's saying, but it
keeps
feels good.
it feels good. He mixes trap and rock. It sounds
Yeah.
great.
Well, I like the Cali Uchis album, and that's all Spanish. So
Yeah, exactly.
There you
And
go.
then these two
Well,
Saba
she does
songs are pretty
Spanglish.
good.
She's Spanglish. Bad Bunny will be straight Spanish whole song. You
yeah,
don't know.
true.
Yeah.
But this Cali Uchis album is mostly Spanish though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
that's
yeah.
dope.
Oh yeah.
I second everything you guys said. I did give a little a listen to some of the songs from the Miley Cyrus album. I wasn't disappointed. It's like rock. It's it's not really. It's like pop rock, very pop,
Yeah, it's
but
not
rock. I think it fits her. I think that's the direction she should go in more.
And Saba. Avery, you said
Yeah, the
that
Saba
Saba.
songs were good.
I know you're in
Especially
the Saba.
second one.
You're in the Saba, right, Sydney?
Yeah.
Has he dropped something?
So see, that's why you see.
I think Sydney put me
so
on to
much
Saba.
music be coming out every week. It's hard.
Yeah,
I
Saba.
think Sydney put me on to Saba way back.
Sydney,
way,
is
way
Saba
back.
from Chicago?
Yes.
Oh, of course. See. There you
We'll
go.
be talking about Juicy J's production a lot. Also, show some love to his album that he just dropped. The Hustle Continues. I listened to one song on it.
Juicy J's been out for a
Goddamn
minute.
High. No, he has a song called Goddamn High that's my thing. I remember it came out a while ago, and I think I put it. It was in new releases for sure.
Yeah.
But great track there. Over on the Billboard 200, this actually is kind of an interesting week in the top 5. AC/DC is currently at number 1 with their latest release, Power Up, which I think we saw new releases and kind of just overlooked, but hey, apparently the people didn't. They beat Pluto and Baby Pluto, Future and Lil Uzi Vert's release, which is kind of shocking considering a lot of Future's kind of slept on with his commercial acclaim. I think of his past 7 albums, they've all hit number 1. So this is probably going to be a glaring miss in his eyes.
He mad. He definitely mad.
Starting over, Chris Stapleton debuts at number 3, and then rounding out the top 5, we have Positions, Ariana, and then Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, which is holding pretty in the top 5 for 20 weeks. Love to see it. People, any surprises here other than the one at the top?
Well, I would say this: AC/DC is a surprise for us because we don't listen to it, but I wouldn't say it's a surprise overall because AC/DC is a super popular rock band.
They're iconic.
Yeah, iconic rock band. So I wouldn't be surprised. Avery, is this the first time in a long time?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, probably.
But we've seen this has been a trend. We've seen it when an older artist releases something new. We've seen them shoot up. I'm sure they're gonna go right back down the charts next week. Like they're gonna be way down there next week. So
now,
I mean, this is fitting of a trend.
This Pluto and Baby Pluto. Did you give that a listen, Sydney?
I actually haven't listened to the mixtape. I hate to say it, but I haven't. Because I feel like people, well, me personally, when two hip hop artists, do a collab album, I always think of Watch the Throne, and I'm like, nothing can really top that. So, like, why would I even?
We're going to talk about Watch the Throne one day. We're going to talk about that album one day.
We got to give it the respect it deserves,
For sure. Absolutely.
Wait, but honestly, I think the surprise for me was that. I wasn't necessarily surprised that AC/DC was number one. I think I was just surprised that between Future and Lil Uzi,
they weren't number one.
They couldn't push them to number one. That was the bigger shock. I
have to shout out Chris Stapleton. His album was great. Happy it's at number 3.
That's Avery Sky.
Yeah. We also should look at number 10 down here.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah.
Young Boy Never Broke Again. He's one of the biggest artists this year because he's released like 5 albums this year alone. Seriously. This is like his third or fourth. So that's why it's so popular, because he released a lot of music. Sydney's Guy is on here. Her album. Oh, I don't want to give any spoilers, but the Kid Laroi, F Love, is on here.
Did that come out this week? That came out.
No.
It was a deluxe.
No, it went down. Yeah, it was deluxe last week. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So.
Also, Queen's Greatest Hits came up like 24 spots. I'm doing my math properly.
We have to talk about 2 Chainz. So Help Me God debuted at 15.
Dang, bruh. That's that's sad because what's so sad? 2 Chainz isn't selling as well, but he's making his best music he's ever made. Seriously.
I agree.
Like this is his best music, but it's
his
not.
Last album was, oh my god.
Rapper Goes to League.
So good, right?
So good. It's good. It's really good. But it's not.
I still go back to that album to this day.
That's a good album.
To this day.
Yeah, but it's not as it's not as best selling as like True and whatnot. So
calling it right now, Weekend After Hours is gonna bounce back to like the top 15, top 10 next week.
I guarantee it.
Reaction to Grammys, we're streaming that album. We gonna give that man a check, okay?
Yeah, we gonna get it. We gonna give Abel a check.
Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas is making its rise up from 39.
Yeah, we're seeing
the reoccurring bag.
We're seeing the Christmas album start to make their way into the top one, the top 200. I mean the Billboard 200. So
she's gaining power.
She's getting stronger.
She's getting stronger.
She's getting stronger.
Y'all think it's gonna go to number 1 again this year?
Ooh.
I think the song.
Any early predictions?
Yes. I'm gonna say yes because I'm gonna say yes because people want to be happy. And Mariah Carey, that's the go-to Christmas album, no matter who you are. So, not just black people, white people, everybody. So, yeah,
I feel that. Over on the Hot 100, top 5 doesn't look all that different. Mood by 24K Golden State at number 1. Therefore I Am by Billie Eilish. Is that me? Is that my computer? Y'all hear that? Sorry.
No, we don't hear you. You good?
Oh, okay. I heard music and I was like, this is me. I just closed out a Billboard. You know how they do those pop-up ads. But Therefore I Am, Billie Eilish debuted at number 2. Well, I guess technically it didn't debut. She probably released it on an off. She probably released it on an off day or something. Because that's the only reason I could see it.
She did.
94.
I think she released it like on a Tuesday or some weird. Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's number 2. Positions falling to number 3. I Hope, Gabby Barrett, which I still have not heard that song. Number 4. Then Laugh Now, Cry Later. Drake rounding out the top 5. Any surprises?
Not really.
I kind of thought Therefore I Am would be number 1.
Now it's back. It's back at number 6.
What were you about to say, Sydney?
I said I'm honestly surprised Laugh Now, Cry Later is in the top 5 still. Like
really?
It's a really good song. I'm just surprised. I don't know why. I thought it was
a good song. I don't hear it as much. No, I think that's fair. I kind of feel the same way every time I see it. Still like number 4 or 5.
Drake is all the way. He's coming. He's on the way. He's coming. You see, right when Sydney says that, Sydney says that next week Drake will drop, so people go, Drake, he's coming.
And I'm surprised Holy is doing as well as it is.
Thank you.
You and Avery both.
Like it was a good song. It was cute, you know. Like
Avery hates it.
I would rather Holy be nominated than Yummy. So
I agree.
I'm gonna let it go.
Holy's better than Yummy.
That's no chance it gets
okay, I'll give you that.
Holy's better than Yummy. I agree.
I'm surprised Rockstar isn't higher up.
That song.
It was number 1 for a while, wasn't it?
There was a lot of albums that went number 1. They've gone number 1. See the Peaks went number 1.
The song, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Dang, that's another thing too. Roddy Ricch should have been nominated too, but that's another thing. Like that album.
I said that even Pop Smoke. I thought honestly Pop Smoke was gonna get like a posthumous best rap or Juice between him or Juice WRLD. Neither of them did.
Yeah.
Posthumous. Yeah, I still say that word wrong to this day. But I can't get back into Grammys mode because I get back, I ain't gonna come back out. But I will say, as a segue, because watch how I'm about to do this. One artist who did get some love was Meg Thee Stallion. Who got 4 nominations, I believe. One of which was Song of the Year or Record of the Year, Best Rap Song Performance,
Best New Artist,
and I think there's one more there that she got, but it was for Savage. Savage Remix was nominated, but Say So Original was nominated. Thoughts there?
Well, the Say So Original is better than the Say So Remix.
Yeah, I think the best versions of both songs were nominated.
I think the best version.
Okay.
How do you feel, Cindy?
Apparently there's a consensus here.
Because those songs came out, they were always compared. What do you think about those songs?
Yeah, because I feel like they came out around the same time, and plus it was like two people that have been in the game, Nicki on Say So, Beyonce on Savage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like both features elevated the song, so I do feel like both versions of the songs with features should have got nominated, or both originals should have got nominated.
I'm not gonna lie, it felt weird to me. I get that some people think this original Say So is better, but the one that at least performed better, and at least to this day, I think is on the Hot 100 somewhere, was the Nicki Minaj version. So I feel like if you're gonna do one big remix, there's just no transparency. Shout out to The Weeknd.
Yeah.
No transparency.
Just quick thing on that too. I just feel like with Say So, that song was so big with like the TikTok thing. It wasn't like a thing with like the remix. With the Savage remix, it was a TikTok trend. People were doing the dance with Beyonce. It's Beyonce, guys. Like, come on, like, that's just my thoughts. Like, I agree with Avery, but I hear
Blinding
both
Lights
sides.
was also a...
Wait, but Savage was big on TikTok before the remix.
That's
though.
very true.
It was like the same with both songs. That's why I'm saying it's so weird that one was honored in one way and the other wasn't.
I feel you.
Again,
If I was Nicki, I'd feel a type of way.
She clearly did. That's why she fired up.
Clearly. Yeah, that's it.